We all know that cargo transportation can be divided into ocean transportation, air transportation, road transportation, railway transportation, and other transportation methods. Among cross-border e-commerce, logistics transportation, air transportation is one of the most important transportation methods. Today, I will introduce you to air freight forwarding and cabin and board transportation. First, let's look at the meaning of air freight forwarding. Air freight forwarding, namely air cargo agent, is a company engaged in soliciting, receiving, customs declaration, booking air cargo at the origin station before being handed over to the airline, as well as receiving, customs declaration, delivery or door-to-door delivery of air cargo from the airline at the destination. As a bridge and link between cargo owners and airlines, air cargo agents are not only the cargo owners' agents, replacing the cargo owners in handling consignment or collection of goods from the airlines. They are also the airlines' agents, accepting goods on behalf of the airlines and issuing the airlines' master waybill and their own sub-waybill. Then let's look at the advantages of air cargo forwarding. Advantages include 1. Be very familiar with air transportation links and relevant rules and regulations. 2. Have close contact with airlines, airports, customs, commodity inspection, and other transportation departments. 3. Have various facilities and necessary conditions for handling air cargo. 4. Have branches or agency networks around the world. You can master the entire process of cargo transportation. Then let's look at the advantages of air cargo forwarding. The concept of packaging board. Packaging board is a form often used in air cargo transportation. It means that the shipper needs to occupy part or all of the cargo hold, containers, and container boards of the aircraft for a certain period of time based on the goods transported, and the air carrier needs to take special measures to ensure this. Classification divided into fixed cabin packaging plate and non-fixed cabin packaging plate. The cabin packaging board, charter transportation contract and transportation certificate, charter transportation contract. Charter transportation contract shall be at least in quintuplicate. One copy delivered the cabin packaging board charter, one copy accompanied by the freight order and submitted to the financial department for review. A copy of continuous cabin packaging board can be used, one copy retained by the Collection and Transportation Department, one copy retained with the freight order stub. A copy of continuous cabin packaging board can be used and one copy transported to the destination station with the freight order. A copy of continuous cabin packaging board can be used. Precautions for cabin and board include 1. Except for weather or other force majeure reasons, both parties to the contract shall perform their respective responsibilities and obligations stipulated in the cabin and board transportation contract. 2. The person packing the cabin and board shall ensure that the consigned goods do not carry dangerous goods or articles prohibited or restricted by the government. 3. If the contract of carriage of cargo cabin and board cannot be performed due to force majeure, the carrier shall not be held liable. For whatever reason, if one party cannot perform the contract as scheduled, it shall promptly notify the other party. 5. Matters not included in the cargo cabin and board transportation contract shall be handled in accordance with the carrier's business regulations. Among them, the cabin cargo transportation matters include: the cabin cargo person should deliver the goods to the designated airport within the agreed time, go through inspection and quarantine procedures, and other procedures on his own, and then go through the consignment procedures. The actual weight and volume of the cargo in the cabin shall not exceed the maximum usable tonnage and volume specified in the contract of carriage in the cabin. Otherwise, the carrier has the right to refuse the transportation, and the resulting losses shall be borne by the cabin operator. If the aircraft is delayed before or after the flight takes off due to reasons caused by the cabin operator or his employees, such as late arrival of the cargo, difficulty in loading the cargo, failure of the cargo to meet safety requirements, delay in unloading, etc., the cabin operator shall be held responsible. The carrier shall be liable for compensation for the losses caused to the carrier. If the cabin operator cancels or changes the cabin package plan before the aircraft takes off, causing losses to the carrier, he shall be liable for compensation. Package transportation matters, including package transportation, are generally limited to non-stop flights. The packager is responsible for the number and packaging conditions of the package and container goods assembled by himself and disassembled by a designated consignee or his agent at the destination station, except for the carrier's reasons. The carrier is not responsible for the shortage or damage of goods delivered during transportation. Each piece of cargo must be affixed or tethered with a cargo identification label, and the freight bill number on the identification label must be consistent with the freight bill. For goods with a container as a transportation unit, the conditions are consistent with the container goods assembled by the packer and disassembled by a designated consignee or his agent at the destination station. Only an identification label can be hung or pasted on the container. The number and weight of goods transported by packaging containers must be accurate. By the end of the course explanation here, I believe that students will have a certain understanding of air freight forwarding and cabin and board transportation. Through study, I hope students will review more after class and expand their new knowledge.